right, everybody, welcome back to the Sideshow. My name is Mingo.
This is T to the Rizzo.
No, dude, you're too old. Your name is just Tony. It's just Tony.
P to the Rizzo?
No. You're like 30 days away from just being Mr. Anthony.
Okay, Tone Rizzo.
I'll let you have like Mr. Paychecks if you want, but Tone Rizzo, no. I can't do that. I can't even look at you when you say that shit.
It's funny because my lady says the same thing. She's like, you got to stop with that. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's me now. That's my persona. That brings me into character.
Is that what it is? Oh, you need to change characters, bro, because that shit fucking you up right now. So how was your last couple of weeks? So what happened last week that you weren't able to? You'd gone to L.A. or something, right?
Yeah,
another vacation.
It's my day off during the week.
Do you normally take a day off during the week?
No, it's my repair day.
Oh, okay.
So unless I don't have anything that's really, I've always got things to do. Trust me on that.
Right.
And I try to save them for Wednesdays because, that way I can just focus on fixing stuff. And some Wednesdays are heavier than others.
Right.
And this past Wednesday, I didn't really have that much to do. That had to get done, I should say. So I've been wanting a new black suit because the one I have it's outdated. It's got 3 buttons on the jacket.
I thought you just bought one.
No, I bought a gray suit.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's dark, nobody will know it's gray or black.
It's it's not that kind of gray. But it's got 3 buttons on it.
Okay.
So that's more 90s kind of Steve Harvey.
Men in Black.
Yeah. So it's a nice suit. Trust me.
Right.
And it's still like it's not like faded black because I don't wear it that often.
Right.
But it's just time for a new one. So I've been wanting one, and I've been wanting a coffee brown suit as well.
That's nice. What's funny is, the other day you wore at Ivan's son's birthday, I believe, is when you wore all that brown, right? You wore your brand new brown and white sneakers, brown pants, and a dark brown shirt, I believe.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I had just got the day before my jeans that color. And I'm glad I didn't wear what I planned on wearing because I didn't have the shoes yet. Or I had the shoes. Maybe the pants came the day after. And I was like, this mother... So, our heads are in the same space when it comes to shit like that.
I'm glad I'm rubbing off on you.
No. You're not rubbing off. I've always been that way. Don't.
First of all...
You need to cut out with the Rizzo.
I had a brown shirt and there were tan pants.
Okay.
Tan jeans.
Right.
And my shoes were brown and tan. They were not white.
Oh, brown and tan.
Okay. So.
Excusez-moi.
So, and my watch was brown.
Oh, nice.
See, the match game is on point. Last couple of years, I have to admit, even for myself. Not to pat myself on the back, but match game has been on point.
You can't pat yourself on the back. You bust your arm and then you be fucked up for work.
But back to we went to L.A. because we were going to do it on a Sunday when we're both off.
Okay.
But then she has a rotating day off, like Sunday and a rotating day.
Okay.
And the rotating is this week is Sunday, Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday, and then every 6 weeks it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's great for trying to schedule stuff, appointments for her.
Oh yeah,
she always knows. She always knows which Thursday she'll have off, Wednesday, whatever. So she was off last Wednesday, and she just said, "Hey, if you can take Wednesday off, why don't we just go to LA on Wednesday instead? It won't be as busy, traffic won't be as bad, stuff like that." And I was like, "You know what? You're right." So we decided to do that.
And a credit card payment would have hit by then, so we're good to spend. So you got. How many suits did you buy?
I got 2.
Okay. The black and the brown one?
Yeah, but the problem is the brown, because I like 3-piece suits. The brown didn't come with a vest. They didn't have... I could have probably tried somewhere else, but I really like these guys. So I just bought that one.
I think if you get the right shirt with the brown one, you don't need the vest. I think you'd be all right.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
The brown I probably won't wear that often anyways.
That's what I'm saying.
So, yeah.
You know what I mean? Gotta be good.
But it was a good quick turnaround trip. The only problem was, kid. Okay, I'm getting old. We're getting old. Okay, and you're comfortable in your own bed. If you don't sleep right, you're just jacked up for
days, right?
So when we go up there, my wife sleeps on her couch and I sleep on a blow-up mattress.
All right.
So we went to bed, and bro, like at 1, maybe 2 in the morning, I woke up. The mattress had a slow leak in it. So like my butt, because it's in the center, was like hitting the ground to where
it was like a blow-up hammock.
Right. And bro, man, as soon as I realized it and I tried to move, like now I'm hurting. My back is hurting. So to where I actually finally fell back to sleep, but like in a chair position, like with my legs flat on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And my butt like on the tip of the bed. And so the back part was popping up. So I was like in a that kind of position.
Oh, wow.
And I was just praying for daylight, kid. I was like, let this night be over.
Wow, that bad, huh?
It was just, it's not your bed.
Do you does she have a pump for it, or is it something you gotta sit there and
No, it's got, you plug it in and you could put this switch and it blows back up. I mean, I could have done it, but it was just I didn't want to wake anybody up.
Dude, you're 53?
Yeah.
Wake everybody up.
Well, here's the thing about that. Oh, and it's kind of funny too. Well, I think I mentioned this before. She's been working a lot of hours.
Who, your wife or your
My daughter?
Oh, okay.
I'm talking. She starts like her dad now at 6. And bro, she'll clock out for lunch for an hour. She'll clock out for dinner like around 5 or 6 for an hour, and she'll go back on it till like 11.
Okay, but look, here's where you're 53 and she's 24. She got plenty of time to catch up on sleep. You on the last leg, fool. You know what I mean?
It showed that night too.
Blowing up that mattress. Should have been like, oh, Dad, I'm glad you woke me up. But I don't want you hurting when you go back. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing. She's like complaining about it. Like, dude, this sucks. And we're telling her, hey, it's a new division. They're working out the bugs. They got to hire more people. Just give it time. You only been doing it a month or two.
Yeah.
But she's like frustrated, da-da-da. But here's the thing. You know how you get paid every 2 weeks?
Yeah.
So she got paid for the first week was a regular week. And the second week was when she started kicking the overtime.
Right.
And she saw her paycheck. And she even texted us. She was like, whoa. I might have different thoughts about this overtime because I already got a check. And it's only half of what it could. I mean, as far as the overtime, it's only half of what it could be.
Right.
So she's waiting for this next check that should be coming in this week to see if it's worth it or not.
As long as it doesn't kick her into a bigger tax bracket, then she ends up with less than. That's the frustration about overtime.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know you ain't got to worry about it. Speaking of that, they raised the limits to $20 an hour now for the. It just went into effect for all the fast food places.
I thought that been in effect.
No, it just went into effect, and Rubio's they closed like 48 locations.
Really?
Yep.
Because of that?
Yeah. And well, at least that's what they're saying. That and the things have slowed down because they have to raise the prices now, and people aren't adjusting to it. But Seabass says that ain't shit slowed down. He says it's busier now than it was before. Even with the higher prices, people doing catering orders or door dashing or.
Yeah, that's one of those things that, people complain about high prices and stuff like that. And when we were growing up, bro, we couldn't afford it. We didn't get it.
Right.
Now it's almost I deserve this.
Yeah, you know what? That's what this next generation is all about. Hey, well, you guys had it. Why can't I have it? Well,
Yeah.
because I worked for, I don't know, about 45 years to get it. You know what I mean? I've worked 37 years to be able to go, hey, I want to go get a burger. And be able to leave and go get me a burger.
Right.
You guys, that's part of the difference. Like before, if we wanted a burger, we're like, damn, I want a burger. Fuck, I gotta go. I'll just make something here. Right? Or you go get you a burger. But now, hey man, let me see my phone. I'm gonna get me a burger. And then it comes to your door. But now you're paying the up cost of all the burger and everything that they're upping it to, plus the delivery charge, plus all the tax charges. And now that if Gavin Newsom's fucking per mile tax goes into effect, that's going to go on to Uber and all that shit because all these people are driving to bring you your product. That's going to drive you. So now you're going to pay not only your own taxes for driving, you'll be paying your delivery guy's taxes for driving.
And the thing is,
fucking douche.
Again, it's one of those things that if we didn't have it, we didn't get it.
Right.
And now it's, well, these prices are so crazy. This is bullshit. Da da da. Like, no, you just can't afford it right now.
Right.
You just need to learn to do without.
You need to, or get another job, work a little harder.
Bro, a couple of weeks ago, you've seen those Progressive commercials, right? With the trying to about teaching older people not to be their parents.
Right.
Well, obviously, shit happens to me all the time.
Right.
Bro, I went to Subway.
You didn't tell another dad joke, did you?
No. Well, I didn't tell a dad joke, but I felt like that one of the dudes in that commercial. I ordered a wrap. Okay?
Okay.
They're not very big.
Yeah, it's tortilla.
Okay. It's not a foot-long sandwich. It's probably, if not a 6-inch sandwich, it's a little bit bigger.
So it's smaller. It's smaller than a burrito tortilla, but bigger than a taco tortilla. Right?
Yes.
It would fall in between there.
Now, got up to pay. Old girl tells me 16 and change.
Did you get chips and a drink too?
That's what I said. I said, no, it's just the wrap. And she looked at me like, yeah, I know. 16 and change, kid.
Wow.
I couldn't believe. Hey, half of me wanted to just be like, no, I'm good. But it's already been made.
You're standing there. Everybody's like, dude, come on. You can't write a check here, sir.
Bro, $16 for a wrap by itself.
Holy
My old lady said wraps are expensive. I should have just got a sandwich. But still, $16 for a wrap?
Sandwiches are the same. They're just as bad now. Subway is charging that shit. It's crazy.
Bro.
And again, that's just for the sandwich. It's not a drink or chips or anything else. It's $20 or $17 just for a sandwich.
That's crazy.
Well, look, they wiped out Quiznos. They wiped out Porta Subs. They wiped out. Apparently, I guess the new one they're going after is Jersey Mike's. They're trying to kill that one. And who was it that somebody just bought Subway?
I
don't remember the guy's name, but it's all going sideways, bro. I'm telling you. Gavin Newsom's got some crazy ideas about. So now that he got a test group of people. So what happens is we were paying an extra tax on gas for roadways. Remember, they added a tax to cover all the roads and repairs and all that shit on the road, right? Well, so many people in California are now driving electric vehicles that the tax that they put on gas no longer covers the roads. It's going down instead of accumulating because more people drive electric cars, right? So in order to compensate, instead of doing it a tax on gas, now they're going to cover. They're going to do a mileage tax. So however long you drive, they're going to charge you per mile.
How are they going to find out how many miles you put on?
Well, I'm sure that there's some sort of either you have to allow them to get into your navigation, or they'll give you some sort of tracking device.
That ain't going to happen. Stop.
Why? They do it already. You got a tracking device with your fucking phone. You got a tracking device with the computer in your car.
But it ain't like anybody could, on a mass scale, get your information.
Why not? It's so much easier to do that than one-on-one.
Yes, it would be if you allowed them to. But I can't imagine a mass scale of people saying, yeah, you could
That's because you
tap
don't have
into
an
my car.
imagination. I think that shit will happen easier than anything. And then they're talking about he's mandating by 2030, I think it was, that each car comes with a speed limiter. Before they used to be called the governor. So you can't go over a certain, like 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. So if the speed limit is 70, in your area, you can't go more than 80 miles an hour in the car. Which I understand. That's like, at the end of the day, that's a safety thing. It's not that big of a deal for safety, but you're still infringing on my right. Fuck it. If I want to drive faster than that, I'm going to drive faster than that. Like,
so if you want to break the law, you should be allowed to.
absolutely. It's free will, my friend. Because if people didn't have that freedom, we wouldn't need law to begin with.
What?
If people didn't have the freedom to break the law, we wouldn't need law to begin with.
Well, obviously, because there'll be lawlessness. But how are you going to... If I want your glasses, I'm just going to take them? Because it's my free will to do that?
If you think you can.
If I like your car...
I'm not saying it's okay. But what I'm saying is, without the free will of a person, nobody's going to make the mistakes for you to need a law against it.
Well, yeah, because you're doing anything you want. And you're
right.
not... And there's no law saying you can't do it. So, yes, there would be no need. There would be no one breaking any laws because there are no laws.
Right. So, by doing that, you're taking away my God-given right to make a mistake.
No, we're driving is not is a privilege. It's not a what's the word I'm looking for?
It's not a right. I
Yeah.
know. It's a privilege.
Okay. So
it would be my privilege if I decide to break the law or go against your privilege. It's my right to go against that privilege and drive faster than what your limits are. And as I am an individual, limits based on me would be different than limits based on other people. So, there's people that need to drive 50 miles an hour because that's what they're limited to in either smarts or reaction time or whatever the case may be. Like, there should be a 30 mile an hour fucking lane for people that don't know how to enter the freeway or for old people. Because I should be able to, you know what I mean? If I feel like the Autobahn. Dude, the Autobahn, you could drive however fast you want and there's no limit.
Right.
And
that's the law.
Right. And there's
Okay.
there's never any accidents on the Autobahn.
You don't know that.
Look it up. There's no survivors from any kind of accident. There might be a lot of fatalities, but And I bet you if there are accidents, they're from fucking
Okay,
foreigners.
now here we go. You see, now you're backtracking. You're backpedaling.
I'm not backpedaling. I'm just giving you a loophole, giving you a way out. Because you always challenge me, and then you're wrong, and then you're like, damn, I didn't, I know. It's okay. It's going to take a while.
The country saw an historic low in road deaths in the Autobahn
That's all you need to know.
in 2021.
That's all you need to
There
know.
were just 2,500.
That's, you know what I mean? That's good. We have that many on a fucking holiday weekend.
Estimated the total number of road deaths in 2023 will reach 2,750 for the year. Only 40 fewer than the previous year.
It
2,500
gets less and
in
less.
2022. Man, told you.
It gets less and less. But those are fatalities. We're not talking about accidents.
About 360,000 were expected to be injured in road accidents this year. Roughly the same as in 2022.
See? That's good. I'd rather get injured having the right to go as fast as I want than the government putting a box on my car saying I can only go 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. You know what I'm saying?
Say that one more time.
I don't remember what I said, Tony.
Okay,
you gotta pay attention.
Let's just say,
It was bullshit.
yeah, you need laws, you need rules, and you need to abide by them. If you choose not to, we understand, but you're going to pay the price for it.
Tony, how fast do you drive on the freeway?
80-ish.
Come on, seriously.
80-ish.
Do you ever want to drive faster? Do you ever find yourself driving faster?
Not in my vehicles, maybe a rental car, just because it's just much smoother ride and you don't notice. But when I do notice, I slow down. So 80-ish. Why? What do you drive?
The law. 70? 69?
You would lie.
Hey, why you say that?
Because why are you even talking about this if you drive the speed
Because
limit?
it's my right. If I want to go faster and break.
It's
the
more
fucking
like
law.
it's your right if you want to lie to me right now.
Well, you've ridden with me. You know how I drive.
That is true.
Shit, I'm good. No, I it depends. It depends on the day. If it's rainy, I don't drive fast. I'm really cautious on the rain. But if it's sunny out here, the tires are aired up the proper way, windows clear, I could see for a while, I'm golden.
At what speed do you think?
Probably about 85 maybe at the most. If I can get out in the desert in going towards Phoenix, you might be able to hit 90, 95.
No, I wouldn't go that fast by choice. 80, 85 on those long stretches. I'm cool with that.
I'm
You know,
cool
it's
with
funny. The other day I was driving down Vistachino,
Okay.
and between Cathedral City and Palm Springs, speed limit 55. Now, the reason I think it's funny is because that used to be the speed limit on the freeways.
Yeah.
Remember, even on the speedometer, 55 was in a different color.
Yeah, and
might
it was
even
bigger.
it might have even been like in a circle or something to show you're going 55.
Maybe, yeah.
Dog, that was freeway speed limits, and there were less cars back then. Now we got fools like you trying to do 90,
Yeah,
and
but
the
you gotta
freeway's packed.
But you got to remember that back then it was when you had V8s and you had the cars were tanks. They were solid steel. So if you got in an accident, a lot more shit was happening after 55. You know what I mean?
You'd be a lot safer.
Some cars, yeah. But you didn't have safety restraints. You didn't have to wear them back then. It wasn't the law back then.
That's true.
Like my dad's truck, they didn't have no safety belts. 56 Ford, there was no safety belts. Matter of fact, it would be me, my older sister, my baby sister, my mom, and me on the floor in a 56 Ford pickup. Going to the grocery store. Hot than a motherfucker. And the only reason why I was inside is because they made it illegal for me to be in the bed of the truck.
At what age is this?
6, 7?
Well, were we still in high school when you could jump in the back of a truck?
No. I don't think so. I think that went away when I was young, dude.
Really? I could have sworn we was in the back of a truck a couple times in high school.
Oh, yeah, that's because our parents didn't give a shit.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'm talking about going with your buddies somewhere.
Right? Ain't no room, get in the back. Ain't nobody want you up here. You stink.
Remember those, what were they, the Subaru Brats that had the actual seats in the back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Didn't they have the little handlebars, too, that you could hold on to?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact. I remember the first time I got into a station wagon, and they let us sit in the way back, and we're staring out the back window.
Right.
That was kind of a weird ride.
They had that seat facing backwards?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It was a weird ride, bro. Like, seeing everything go backwards, you're like, oh. Did you ever get motion sickness?
I did, riding sideways. No, I think I was facing backwards in a limousine.
Really?
Manuel's brother turned 40, and we went to a winery. And so we met up like in Pasadena, and we went to Temecula.
Okay.
So I was riding back. My wife and I were facing, like the driver was behind us.
Oh.
And it started to, like seeing traffic, it started to mess with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, some new things that are coming. So these are laws that are going to take effect, I believe, July 1st. Because they just changed a bunch of new laws dropped. So they're going to, people that were in jail, Senate Bill 731 allows individuals to permanently seal almost all convictions on their criminal records if they have completed their incarceration and have been conviction-free for at least 4 years. This law aims to help approximately 225,000 Californians by automatically sealing old convictions, with another million eligible to petition for a seal, excluding sex crimes. So if you've ever been convicted, seems like they're going to automatically seal it. If not, you can go ahead and petition to have your record sealed.
So if you commit robbery, if you rip off somebody's house,
and you served your time,
and then 4 years after you get out,
correct,
and you don't get in any trouble,
then they'll scrub your record. What do you think about that?
I don't know.
I think I'm kind of with it, and I'll tell you why. Because the whole idea about going to jail and doing your time is because that's your penance for the crime. If you committed the crime, you get caught, and you go to jail, that's your above punishment. That's you repaying society for what you've done wrong. And once you've done it, you're supposed to be able to come out and get it. Like, they're not supposed to look at it. If you've done your time, you should be able to go in and get a job anywhere. Most people can't, because they see the conviction on your record. They're like, ooh, no puedo.
So what happens if you apply for a job, ask you if you've ever been convicted of a felony, and you put no because it's been sealed? Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
You can't do that, though, because...
You can't do what?
You still have to put that you were on an application. You still have to put that you were convicted, because you served your time, but it's sealed. It doesn't take it away. It doesn't scrub it from your record. They just can't go and look at it. They can't go see the terms.
So what difference does it make if it's sealed or not? I mean, if you still got to tell you a potential employer, just in this instance, a potential employer that you were in jail,
right?
I mean, they're not going to they're not going to look it up as to why. That's just enough for them to say no.
Right. I don't know. That's the fucking law. You're with it on the car. Oh, I don't care. I don't want to drive that fast. We don't care. We don't want them to get jobs. Like,
So I don't know how that's going to help.
well, I think the following move with that is they're talking about taking that question off of potential or off of job applications. Have you ever been convicted of a felony?
And you're okay with that?
I don't know.
And here's the reason why I ask. I remember doing an interview with someone when I worked at Alamo.
Okay.
And it was more casual. Like, our office was very casual. It wasn't, like, very business-like.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, it wasn't corporate. How's that?
Right. No, I got you.
And so we were just talking, and I happened to ask the person how old they were. Yeah, dude.
Ooh.
You can't ask me that. And I was like, it's just curious. I mean, it was not a big deal. Maybe I wanted to hang out. You seem like a cool person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they were like all up in arms about it.
Yeah, bro, that's a big fucking no-no.
Why? I mean, I don't understand the big deal.
Well, because you could make you could pass judgment on him based on their age and not hire him. He's a young knucklehead. He's not gonna, you know what I mean? Blah blah blah. He's not ready for a job here at this mega conglomerate rent a place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah. Did you get in trouble for it?
I wouldn't say I got in trouble. I don't remember. I remember my boss having to take over.
Really?
Yeah.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, because the dude was just making a big stink about it, and maybe he was at an age that he felt that we could have held him against him. I don't know. I was in my early 20s.
What job was he applying for?
Rented cars. No big deal. You know what else I used to do?
I would have twisted it on him. I'd have been, because, you have to be a certain age to rent the car as a customer. And we have a policy that you have to be a certain age to be able to do that through our insurance company. So I just wanted to make sure you're above 23, right? And wrote it out.
Well, another thing that I used to do that I found out is a big no-no.
How many kids you got?
No, people who apply, we're supposed to put it in a file, their application. Even if they weren't hired, you'd have to keep it.
For 6 months, right?
Something like that. I would just throw them away. Like, if I didn't like the person, no.
Wow. Damn, Tony.
Hey, that's what you get for promoting somebody, that doesn't know the ropes.
Well, that's what they get for not telling you how to do it and have you wanting to do the job. I'm with you on that. That's very, very true. Companies are really bad about that shit, dude. Hey, do you fit in that chair? Perfect. Sit right there and help whoever comes in. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck. There's a lot less of, baptism by fire. Like, when I get hired, do you have any questions? No. Not yet. But when shit comes in and I can't figure it out on my own, I'll come to you. You know what I mean? Because you're just so used to either sit here and wait for somebody to come in and then figure it out.
And if that happened to me today, dude, I'd be throwing away applications left and right. Because, people will come in, apply, and, they're not dressed properly, stuff like that. Those, just a few here and there. Be like, nah, if you weren't, if you're not being serious, then no. I would just throw it away. Now, that's how applications, they're not even made in person anymore.
Yeah, exactly. When I had, when I worked at Aaron's in Hayward, they were hiring a second person for my department. And the guy came in, and me and him are really good friends now, by the way. But when he first came in, he's a couple years older than I was. He came in wearing shorts, loafers with no socks. He had an earring in, and he was just kind of like, eh. Right when he came in, and I looked at him, and I was like, there's no fucking way you're going to hire that guy.
Right.
I said, look at him, dude. He's coming to an interview in shorts, and he's fucking like 90 with an earring. Come on. Hire somebody else. but he fucking hired him. We were at odds at times, just because our personalities, let's say, were different, and the way we do shit is different, and we'd butt heads every now and again, but we ended up being really, really, really good friends, even to this day. And then there was a time where I think I told you this before, I was managing and I had to hire somebody, and this kid came in and he was 15 minutes late for the interview. And he said, "Oh, hi, my name is so-and-so," and I was sorry, dude, interview time's passed. What do you mean you're not going to interview me? I said, well, your interview was 15 minutes ago. I said, if you can't show up on time for the interview, what's going to happen after I hire you and once you're in? If you don't care enough to make a good impression in the interview, what's it going to be like after I hire you?
Right.
I said, go home and reapply. And next time, show up on time. And he said, but dude, he says, I came from Oakland and I couldn't, I was trying to get on the bus and the bus was late. I said, you should have planned better. You should have gotten on an earlier bus. I said, I know it sounds dickish, but I'm sorry, dude, if you can't be here on time. Sorry. And after he left, my boss was like, was that your interview? I said, that was my interview 15 minutes ago. Don't you start that same shit he was giving me. He said, what do you mean? It was all like, I said he was crying about, being that he had to ride a bus and he had to do this to get here. I said he should have gotten the earlier bus. Not my fault. I said, this is what he's applying for. This is the time that we agreed upon. If he can't show up to that on time, what am I supposed to expect from him? And what am I telling him is okay after I hire him? Oh, that's fucked up. You should have at least interviewed him. I said, well, I told him to go home and reapply and just show up on time next time, and I'd be more than happy to interview him. He said, dude, you're a dick. Whatever. And I'm not that desperate where I'm just going to hire somebody to hire them. You know what I mean? Let's make sure that we get the right person that's going to be there when they're supposed to, and let's make it happen.
I remember one time I was, we were trying to find someone to fix chips in windshields.
Oh, yeah.
And so we called it the window repair guys. At this time, there weren't a lot of companies that did that. So one of the first companies that did it, what?
What's the name of the company that does it now?
I don't even remember. I don't even know.
Safe Auto?
Safe Light.
Safe Light.
Yeah.
Auto Glass. Here you go.
But this was like a specific company that just did dents, and he did window chips. Dent Master, stuff like that.
Okay, got you.
And the first company that came in, dude wouldn't shake my hand. Was like, and when I say would, it's like I extended my hand. He didn't reciprocate. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever.
Was it during COVID?
No, this is back in Alamo days. This is back in the 90s.
Okay.
And he gave me like price sheets and stuff like that, how much they charged. And after I got done talking with him, I went to the manager. I'm like, hey, here's this guy's price sheet, da-da-da. And my manager was like, so what did you think? I was like, yeah, I didn't like him. I said, his prices are good, but I'll be honest with you, man, he didn't even shake my hand. And I never forget this. My manager's like, yeah, okay, then we won't use him. And took his price sheet, didn't even look at it, and just threw it in the trash.
Really?
I was like, cool.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
That was like, I'm telling you, and I know that my son gives me shit for it, but one time I came home and him and his friend were in his room, and I came in and the kid was like, my son said, oh, this is so-and-so. And the kid said, just waved at me. So I told him, Milo, come on here. What? I said, you need to go in there and tell him to go home. I said, what? I said, he didn't even get up to shake my hand, introduce himself. He don't know me. He's in my house. He didn't wake up here. You need to tell him, go home, and if he wants to come back in my house the next time, he's going to shake my hand like a man. What? For real? Yeah. Tell him to go home. And the kid went home. Like, I was like, I'm not fucking around. You tell all your friends before they get here, hey, make sure you shake my dad's hand and say hello. Like, that's just a normal, common courtesy thing. Like, that's a respect thing. Like, you know what I mean?
I hear you.
Just like I told him, I said, if you ever go over a girl's house and you introduce yourself to them, You make sure you stand up when you shake his hand. You look him in the eye and don't do the fucking dead fish. He said, what's a dead fish? And sure enough, I put my hand out to shake his hand, and he did it. I said, that's a fucking dead fish.
What do you do?
Well, you know, when they just use their fingertips and they just kind of... Nobody ever done that to you?
No.
So you go to shake their hand, and they're just kind of like... like you would like a dainty woman almost, you know what I mean? And you shake his fucking hand like a man. You know what I mean? Get in there and let him know that you're a fucking dude. All right, cool, let's go. I said, because you need to build that respect and show him the respect for you to be in his home. Okay. So I asked him, I said, so how'd it go? He said, yeah. He says, it was weird. The dude didn't even stand up to shake my hand. I said, he didn't stand up to shake his hand? Yeah, I said, you need to let her go. If they're not teaching, if they're not having, basic respect, then they're not teaching it to his daughter, so you're good. You know what I mean? Just one of those.
I remember when I used to date, and if I'd meet the parents for whatever reason, on purpose or just on accident, suck up all the time.
Right.
Be the best person. I always got in good with the parents. Parents always loved me.
Yeah. I was really good at, and I did this for a really long time until I got married. But after I got married, she was because she was white, so she didn't understand it. But I was taught when you meet a woman, you shake her hand, you kiss her on both cheeks. That was just how we were raised. When you meet a woman, kiss her on both cheeks. And
You're crazy. Back then?
Yeah.
We never did that.
Yeah.
When you first meet somebody, you're going to kiss them on both cheeks.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
This shit used to chicks would melt, bro. You do that shit, you grab them and do the dead fish on them and bring them in and give them a kiss on each cheek.
You ain't French.
Wee wee, motherfucker. I was trying to use my wee wee, motherfucker.
No, that's a bit much.
Nah, but it was just a habit. You know what I mean? Especially like when I went to, I think I really started it, and it came back to me when I went to Albuquerque, because the dude that I was doing radio with, he was doing it too. I was like, dude, I haven't seen anybody do that in forever. He said, oh yeah, man, my mom would beat my ass if I didn't do it. Like, right on. So we'd go, we were hanging out and we'd meet listeners, and kiss on each cheek. We'd be like, all right. Pimp 101. Shit. It was just, it was just a habit. But, it's one of those things where, especially now, it's such a blurry line of because for us growing up, it was a blind respect. If you meet somebody and they're older than you, you respect your adults, and that's it. You respect your elders.
Right.
How you were taught, right?
Yep.
Now, if an elder says something that's off color to a kid, the kid thinks he has the right to, and I'm going to back up in a minute, has the right to kind of retort or claim his place in that conversation or in that area. I don't know how I feel about that, because I agree to the fact that if the person that you're going to that is an adult doesn't show you that same respect that you're showing when you meet them and you greet them, what are you supposed to do as a man? Because that's your position, right? Like when you meet somebody and we're teaching our children that this is how you greet another man, that's how you want to be. You want to be treated with that same respect, right? And that's the other thing we treat.
But you're still a kid.
Right.
So when you say what are you supposed to do as a man, well, that kid is not old enough to know what to do as a man. So
as a kid.
As a kid.
Okay, so as a parent of that kid, do you tell them it's just growing pains, shit happens when you're a kid?
No, you just got one of those assholes, Junior, so they're not always going to be like that. Disregard them. It's
bouncing around in my head right now. I'm trying to figure out how I want to, because part of me agrees with you. Because I think had I been, I remember one time my uncle asked me or told me, we were all hanging out, and he said, "Hey, go get me a beer. Go get your own beer." Like, tell me some shit like that. Ask me.
Right, yeah.
Hey, can you go grab me a beer? That's different.
Right.
And my dad slapped me in the back of the head. Don't talk to your uncle like that. Go get him a goddamn beer. So I had to go get him a beer. But what's funny is a couple of years later, we were in Fireball, which is like Central California, around Madera and all that. That's where my white family lived. My mom's side of the family, she had a sister that lived up there, and we had cousins up there and whatnot. And we had gone up there for some reason, and there was a guy there that was a friend of theirs. I don't even think he was. I don't remember if he was related or not because I was still kind of young. But my little sister was outside sitting on my dad's lap, and the guy told my little sister, "Hey, go get me a beer. Go get me a beer, honey." My dad told my little sister, "Go inside." He said, "Don't you ever fucking talk to my daughter like that again. She's not here to serve you." And like, thought she was, and my dad wasn't even fucking, didn't drink at that point. So that was like the first time I seen him like, "Hey man," you know what I mean? So I'm like, "Well, wait a minute." Yeah. And then you gonna make me go get him fuck that.
Well, that was gonna be my next comment was when your dad said, "Hey, don't talk to your uncle that way. Go get him a beer."
Right.
Don't you think he should have told your uncle? And yo, next time you need to ask.
And you know what? I don't think he did. I'm gonna say that. Maybe he said it while I was gone getting the beer. I never heard him stand up for me. But on the other hand, with his brothers, my dad never stood up to his brothers because they were all younger than him. And out of respect for, or at least this is what the story was, out of respect for his mother and his brothers, he didn't want to have that relationship with them because they would always, like, they would drink at bars and get all fucked up, and then they would call each other, or they would send somebody to go get them because they were about to get in a fight with the whole fucking bar, and then all my uncles and my dad would show up, and here we are, you know what I mean, and pull out the brother safely out of the bar. Or my dad told me that some guy, he was at a bar, and one of the guys, "Hey, those are those guys that are looking for you. Hey, we'll go tell my brothers. We'll tell them I need some help."
Right.
And my uncle showed up, and they walked into the bar, and they walked out with my dad in tow. You know what I mean? There was no problem. Nobody said shit, and they walked out. But it's like they had a different, like, it's really weird because they had like this really tight camaraderie with each other, and it's like, it's that brothership. Like, I talk shit to you, we talk shit to each other, but I wouldn't let somebody outside of our friendship talk to you that way. You know what I mean? Like, it would be like, "Hey dude, what the fuck you do? Who do you think you are?" You know what I mean? That's my boy. I talk to him that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then there would be that kind of issue. I never saw my dad have that. I never saw him do that for them, but I never saw him clown them or say sideways shit to them either. Does that make sense? I had one uncle that, well, he was always drinking. I remember one time he came to the house, and he pulled up, and he used to drive this van, and he pulled up in the front yard, and he was sitting there, and he was pulled up, got out of the van with a beer, and he was sitting in the front yard with my dad, and he said, "Samuel, go get my Mayonetta, my little ice chest." He called it an ice chest, but he just had beer in the. There was no ice. It was just an ice chest with beer in there, and the beer didn't even fucking feel cold. It was just like almost room temperature beer, and so he was always drinking, and that's part of my dad's thing too, because I think, you know, he was an alcoholic, so he knew, and he always told, "Hey, don't ever, if you're sober, and somebody drunk comes and wants to fight, don't ever fight a drunk person. First, because that's not fair. They're drunk, and you don't know what they know when they're drunk or what they're willing to do while they're drunk. So save yourself the headache and fucking walk away. But it's just kind of weird. Like that whole respect thing is so far gone. Outside of just small pockets, like small groups. Like your kids are very respectful. Luis's kids, everybody's kids are really good, right? And then, but you go outside of that pocket, or you go to someone else's family or house, and the kids are different, and the way they talk to their parents, and the way they do things, is just really awkward movements from kids sometimes. And like growing up, did you have friends that come over your house all the time, or was it just like James and those guys?
Just James and those guys. They would come over all the time. I'd go over there all the time.
Were they comfortable in your house just to go into the fridge and get what they wanted?
No.
That's how my house was. As a matter of fact, don't be bringing people over here that we don't know. that was always, I don't think you and Manny, I think, was about the only one that ever came over.
Right.
And I think that was just one time.
Honestly, growing up, I don't think I've ever been in your house.
Yeah.
We would just come pick you up. You'd come out.
Yep. And that was part of the whole, don't be bringing people to my house. God damn, okay. But my parents never had friends over. It's not like they were, like you have parties all the time, you have people over and hanging out. I think growing up, there was one, like what I would consider like a fucking party. And that was my parents' wedding anniversary, their 25th wedding anniversary. And other than that, there was not really ever a chamba at the house or anything like that. And they were really secluded from everybody. Like all of the aunts and uncles lived down in Coachella. I had an uncle in Palm Desert. And that was before Monterey was the through street. So you had to drive up to, to Bob Hope and do the whole loop around to come. And then I had an uncle in Desert Hot Springs, Sky Valley-ish. He had a couple acres up there, so you'd go out and go to his house. You had to go off a dirt road and go back and around behind some shit. And, you finally find his house. And so they would never come. Like they were, oh, no, that's far. It's just half an hour. What are you talking about? That's far. Well, they kind of sound like you. Oh, man.
Half an hour that's a drive, kid. Come on.
You're tripping. Well, but, you got to remember, I lived in the Bay Area for a long time. And even in Phoenix, dude, like what should be a half an hour drive would take upwards of an hour. Because people, accidents and shit like that everywhere, you're stuck. And so we never had that family coming over like that. I think the only one that is if we went to Coachella and my cousin was going to come stay the night with us. And that only happened less than a handful of fucking times. Because my mom was like, well, no, he's got a home. He can sleep at his house. Fuck, Mom. Well, then can I stay at night? Why? You have a house? You can stay in your home? You're good. Fuck.
Go ahead.
Even my cousin, Chendo, that I'm really close with, he lives in Palm Desert. And I would stay the night at their house all the fucking time. I don't think he ever stayed the night at my parents' house. Ever.
Well, you get to an age to where you're not spending the night.
Well, it'd be weird if he came over tonight and said, hey, you mind if I stay the night? Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying that, like, when we were young, there was none of that. It was me always at other people's house. Kind of weird now that I think about it.
I was just thinking about back to the refrigerator thing.
Okay.
Do you think it has anything to do with when we were growing up? What's in the refrigerator wasn't like ready to eat stuff. That's back when you had to cook. Right. So part of the reason why I think my friends didn't go in the refrigerator or I didn't go in somebody else's refrigerator was because, it's not like you could grab something and start chomping on it. Right. And things weren't readily available, like sodas and stuff like that. But the only reason I thought about that is because the only person whose house growing up that we went into the refrigerator was our friend Shannon.
Oh, okay.
And that's because they always had, because they didn't really cook, so it was like everything was just like ready to eat stuff.
That's funny.
And another thing is it was a different kind of relationship with your friends with your parents.
Right.
To where now it's like my kids' friends growing up, when they'd come over, yeah, they had access to everything. Now they still do to this day. Just go in the refrigerator, and half of that is because, yeah, we got something you just grab and either drink or eat. And the other half is, we're friends. I mean, you're my kids' friends, but, it's not like I'm Mr. Pacheco and you got to be scared of me. It's like, yo, what's going on? How you doing?
Right. I don't know. I think there's certain levels to that. I think part of it is, yes, my mom didn't want to fucking cook for all the kids in the neighborhood just because they came over. But I also think for us, a lot of it was like, we grew up on welfare, so there was, mom had a certain amount of shit that she bought, and that's got to last the next 30 days. You know what I mean? Or shoot by 15 days worth, and then go, but she'd save the rest of her stamps to go get the rest on the 15th.
Right.
Or she got it twice a month, however that fucking worked back then.
Yeah, how come you never invited me to your house when we were growing up?
Dude, I'm telling you, that wasn't something we did. First of all, like, you know what I mean? And I knew, like, this is going to sound really fucking wrong, but I knew that we were poor. Now, my mom kept a really clean house, and like, she'd get up every day, she'd vacuum, she'd, get everything. My mom smoked and shit like that in the house, but we never had anybody over. So, part of me was like, well, I don't, we're poor. I don't want to bring anybody over and see my little house, my poor little house. I don't want to, and we didn't have AC, so you didn't want to fucking kick it in that house in the summer, anyways. But we didn't have snacks readily available. Like, Kool-Aid was probably the best I could have offered you. You know what I mean? And back then that would have been cool, right?
Right. Yeah.
And the little, you remember how they had the fucking the little Tupperware where you pour the Kool-Aid in, and then it gave you the top to put on there.
Yeah, to make a little icicle. Yeah, icicle.
So we did it. We had to do it the poor way. We'd put the Kool-Aid in ice trays, and then put Saran wrap over it and put toothpicks in the ice cubes, and then we'd have ice cubes. I'm walking around looking like Wolverine with Kool-Aid knives on my hand. But I sit and you ask that shit, and I think, how fucking stupid was I? Like, it was such a great way to grow up. Even poor, I was so rich in the fact of what I was learning and the wealth of knowledge that I was building, even being around and not being able to do certain things, and the thick skin that I developed, and all the strengths that you develop growing up like that. I didn't know that that's what was happening back then, because I don't know who I would be if I didn't grow up like that. Does that make sense? I don't think I'd be who I am had I not grown up poor and...
Well, but you didn't know any other way.
Right.
But it'd be like that in Eddie Murphy, Delirious. Oh, where you get that welfare burger from? We got McDonald's and you got a welfare burger.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I don't know. We never... Now that I think about it, dude, I think there was Karen that lived down the street here. She still lives there. Her 3 of her husbands would have my dad work with them. So he would go and help them do what he could. And her last husband, him and my dad, they look like fucking brothers, bro. The dude was tall, dark, and native. And him and my dad looked a lot alike. And even on their deathbed, when I know that's really kind of morbid to say, right? But When I went to go see, because I think my dad passed away first, and I took a picture of my dad, which I shouldn't have, but I did just so that I could keep it. I took a picture of him in the coffin, and I saw it, and then when Oscar passed away, which literally is like 3 houses down, I walked down there for the wake, and he was there at the house, and I walked in and I saw him, and it was like being back at the funeral home with my dad. Like, it was so weird. I was like, I had to take a second look. Like, wait a minute, holy shit, that is Oscar. I thought that was my dad. Like, it was really, really weird, dude. Like, going to see that, it really kind of fucked me up at first. Like, I was like, oh shit. But so she and her husbands, I think her first two husbands never came in the house. Oscar had been in the house. I don't think there was another neighbor by the name of Denise. She had been in the house briefly, but it's not like my dad ever had anybody that would come and hang out, or like nothing. Even when like he would do shit around the house, he'd do it all by himself.
Right.
And then he would have like he would do forms in front of the house for cement, because he was in a car club with a guy that worked for the cement place, and the guy would deliver all out in this area. So he stopped by and went, hey, you want some concrete? Fuck yeah, dude, give him about 10 minutes, I'll throw up some forms. So we're outside with my dad putting up forms, leveling the ground where he wants the concrete. And the guy would, all right, he said, I got about 6 yards. And he'd pour him the concrete that he had. And we're out there with 2x4s leveling it and hitting it so all the bubbles come out and tempering it and doing all that shit.
They didn't have kids for you to play with?
My parents?
No, these neighbors.
Bro, there was no neighbors back then. Like, okay, so literally on the street where my parents' house is, okay, there was 5 houses on that street all the way down to Circle K.
Damn.
If that. Because there was where the church is at, there was a house across the street, and then there wasn't another house until you hit the end of that block, and that was a little duplex that was there on the corner. And then on the side of the street where there was a house, where there was a church, I don't think there was another house there until the corner, and that's where Gary grew up. And then across the street from where Gary was at is where Angela grew up. And then so up the street from Angela next door was the Dome House. And that was the first house that had been built out here after we moved. And other than that, so like where my house is at, there was that empty lot. So that's that trailer that's there now. And then next to the trailer was a house, and that was the only other house that was on the block. So on my block, on my side of the street, there was only my house, and back then it was the Mounces that lived there. And they used to have fucking scary ass Doberman pinchers, bro.
Then there's no reason. It's no
wonder.
No wonder why you didn't have your friends coming over, because there wasn't no friends to come over.
Right, and then at
that age at least.
Well, and for me, I would get on my bike and I'd leave the house at 7:00 in the morning when it was still cool, and I wouldn't come home all day. I was on my bike throughout all this neighborhood. I'd go over to Henry's and hang out with him and his brother. I'd go hang out with the Camargos. I'd go hang out with Judd and all them and Charlie, and I'd over here with Chino and his brother, and I mean the whole city, bro. But every once in a while you'd get a dog that was loose, and you trying to fly to keep away from him, dude. Like, this was one of those cities where, like, I'd wake up and my mom like, hey, I don't have any cigarettes. Go down to Circle K, get a gallon of milk and a pack of cigarettes, and with that change, you should have a quarter. You could play one video game and then come home. All right, cool. So I'd ride my bike from right there all the way down to Circle K, which if you don't fucking look at it, going to Circle K is downhill. Coming home is uphill. So now, and I didn't have like a BMX or anything like that. I had like a homemade lowrider bike. So I had the long handlebars with the forks with the spring, and I was always fucking with my bike. So trying to fucking haul ass so the dog doesn't bite you while you're holding on to a plastic bag with a gallon of milk and a pack of cigarettes, trying to fly up the street. So my mom would send me to the store with a note. Hey, this is Miss Lopez. It's okay to sell my son a pack of blah 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 and blah blah blah. Thank you. Like, all right on.
Yeah, when we grew up over there by Demuth Park, dude, we had kids everywhere. I mean, we'd have a little bike gang going on, riding up and down the streets. There'd be like at least 8 of us.
Wow.
At least. And then moving to North Palm Springs, that was like the 5th grade. And nobody was as close, but I mean, still like James. That's when I met James and Joey Acosta. My neighbor was his aunt, so he'd come over every once in a while. We'd hang out, but it was still in riding bike distance, just probably like here, but houses in between, But I mean, with my kids growing up, they didn't really. They had friends locally. I mean, obviously they went to school with them, but it was like there was no riding of the bikes over there because they were a little too far. Wow. So we'd have to, drive them and stuff. Miss those days. Wish they could have grown up like that.
Right. Well, I remember. I still, even to this day, and I've told them, but I don't think they believe how far we used to ride our bikes. Like, we'd drive down to Circle K, and before, so if you go straight down Monterey, before Monterey went straight through, that was still an overpass right there. But the way it was is it had one exit off the freeway and straight onto Sierra del Sol or Monterey, right? And then it was so across the street from where AM/PM's is now, there used to be a Texaco with a restaurant on top of it called the Top Deck, and that was like the first big rig truck stop was. So people would, that were driving trucks would pull off the freeway, get their gas, park in the dirt lot across the street, and go have food at the Top Deck before they got back on the road.
Right.
So if we wanted anything like other than snacks, like at Circle K or whatever, and your parents were willing to let you could ride down there, but it was expensive for us because, even back then, because we weren't getting that kind of money. So what we would have to do is they built a Del Taco on Washington and what is that road? The frontage road right there on next to the freeway.
Country Club?
No, on the freeway. So where you get off and you go to
Varner?
Yes, so Varner used to go. It comes down and goes all the way down the freeway, all the way to Washington.
Yeah.
So there used to be a Noggles there that they built. We used to leave like at 10 or 11, and we'd go down Washington the back way, all the way down to Noggles. And it was one lane either way, and people didn't fucking, they really didn't move. Like, they would honk at you if you were on the road. Like, they didn't want to go over just a little bit to get past you. Although there wasn't that much traffic back then anyways. It was just people that were going to Sky Valley because that was the shortcut, was going through Thousand Palms Trail Road. And so we'd ride our bikes all the way down there and hang out and come back.
Well, in junior high, my wife's going to kill me for this one. I lived up, North Palm Springs.
Okay.
And was dating a girl that lived in Outpost. Bro, on my bike from, best description is Raymond Creek Middle School. I lived kind of in that area, but closer to Sunrise.
Okay.
She lived south of Outpost Market on Ramon.
Okay.
And I'd take that bike and roll.
How old were you? Middle school?
7th grade.
Wow. It's powerful, though. It's powerful. Very, very
That
powerful.
was a bike ride, kid.
Well, the other day I was looking at it just for shits and giggles. Because remember I told you between 10th and 11th grade, before I got the purple Monte Carlo, I had to go to work so that I can get the money to buy it. And my uncle was selling it to me at the time for $1,500. So my dad didn't want to take me to school and then have to pick me up and take me to work. He goes, I'll buy you a bike. Fuck, do you know how fucking hot it is? So I used to have to ride my bike from here to Palm Springs High School.
Damn.
8.8 miles, bro. 8.8 fucking miles. And then I'd go from Palm Springs High School back down Ramon. And what's the name of the street right there? Where 7-Eleven's at and the theater used to be? The drive-in? The drive-in?
Crosley?
Yeah, Crossley's the little side road there, but the main road that goes to, there's like country something. Anyways, so I'd go down Ramon to that street and I'd cross right there to get to 111. And then I'd take 111 down to where Target's at and cross the street so I'd go to work at Burger King. And then I'd work there till closing time. My dad would come pick me up at 10:30. We'd throw my bike in the back of his truck, and I'd go do that shit again the next day. And I did that shit all summer long just so that I could buy a car.
I remember having to walk to and from work when I used to park cars. So I was already 16 at the time. And I guess it's not really that far of a walk, but at 16, I was walking from Kobe down 111 to, where I used to live by Demuth Park off of Sunny Dunes.
That's a long walk, dude.
So I would walk, and I'd get done like at 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Your mom would make you walk home at night?
Yeah.
Holy shit, Tony.
Walk, kid.
I'm glad I didn't have to ride my bike home at night.
I would go down 111, make a right on Gene Autry, go over the bridge, past the water park, make a left on, what's the street with the park?
Yeah.
Mesquite.
Yep.
And then one look like El Placer or something, make a right to Sunny Dunes. Don't get me wrong, I didn't do it often. It was one of those times when I couldn't figure out a ride. Yeah,
but it was just the fact that was your alternative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck, bro. Like, these kids don't appreciate the shit that like our parents would tell us, oh, well, we had to walk, 30 miles in one direction to go to school through the uphill both ways and whatnot. Dude, we had some shit that we had to do too.
Hell yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that was really, I remember, and I think I've told this story before, but forgive me, I'm going to tell it again because this is a fucking sticking point in my life. I was working one day, I'd gotten out of school and I didn't have to work. So I was riding home, and it was hot as fuck, bro. It was probably one of the hottest days of the summer. And I had already finished my water on the way home. And I'm going up right there where the casino's at. I'm going up that overpass there on Ramon Road. And the chain on my 10-speed broke. Slammed my nuts on the bar, the whole bit. Because I'm going uphill, so you put in extra strength trying to get uphill. And a fucking chain snapped. I didn't have a cell phone to, hey, Dad, the fucking chain broke. I didn't have change for a payphone. They wouldn't accept collect calls. And I wasn't in the mood to, hey, the chain broke, come pick me up. I'm right here in the corner. Blah, blah, blah. So I walked that motherfucker all the way home. I got fucking, and, I got like 90 pounds of books on my back. You know what I mean? And I'm walking, and now I just went uphill to come downhill. And now I got to go all the way uphill from Circle K to my house. And I walk, and I get to the house, and they're all laughing and giggling. And my dad's, watering the outside, the grass and shit, and acting like they're all having a good time. Hi, amigo. How are you? How was your day? This fucking bike's a piece of shit. That was my response, and I threw it on the ground, and they all kind of looked at each other, and I went inside. I was fucking. I think I had heat stroke that day, dude. It was that fucking hot. Like, it was bad, bro.
One time we went to the Day Festival. It was me, Rick, Shannon, and Shannon's girlfriend.
Okay.
And we initially met up at Shannon's house, and I don't know, I don't remember if his parents took us or if somebody else took us. But his parents specifically said, "You guys got a ride back because we're not picking you up." And we just said yes because we just wanted to go. You know, we're freshmen in high school, maybe juniors. We just wanted to go.
Not realizing how far fucking
Not realizing it. So we get there. We have a blast. You know, it was at night. We're there till closing. What time is the Day Festival close? 11? 12?
Yeah, something like that.
Bro, so now comes the reality. We don't have a ride. My mom doesn't drive. Rick's mom supposedly unplugs the phone at night so she doesn't get woken up. So Shannon has to call his parents talking about we ain't got a ride. They're like, not our problem. So, we were like, okay, if we start walking now, we might make it back home by sunup. So we start walking down 111.
Fuck.
And it took us forever to get to that Winchell's right there on whatever corner that is, like where the In-N-Out is. That's a main street.
Oh, they're in Indio. Yeah.
But the Winchell's is just off that intersection.
It's across the street from whatever bank that is right
So
there.
we made it to that Winchell's, and they were open 24 hours. And we were like, we're not going to be able to do this because it took us probably an hour just to do that.
Shit.
And so he called his parents again. And, they had that relationship where they cussed at each other. Well, I shouldn't say cussed at each other, but they could cuss, stuff like that. And Shannon getting on that payphone, calling them again, and I could hear them through the handset yelling, "God damn it! I told you motherfuckers to get your own ride." Da 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 da. They're like, "We're gonna call you a cab. We're gonna pay for it, but you guys need to pay us back for it." And sure enough, it took them about 20 minutes for a cab to show up. But dude, we were ready to walk from Indio to Palm Springs. No, well, I shouldn't even say that. We tried, and we made it to whatever street that is, Jackson, maybe.
Yeah, I think it is Jackson.
Something like that. And that dude couldn't do it.
Fuck. You guys are crazy, bro. That's a fucking long walk, dude. Fuck.
Good times, though. Good times.
But I don't know how. I remember one time in the summer, I'm telling you, I left here walking the house because I had to go to the EDD department in Palm Springs on Gene Autry. So I walked. I had to get on the water, and I walked over the overpass on Ramon Road, and I was going uphill right there, right before you get to the Rancho Mirage High School. Now, this was before Rancho Mirage High School was there. So I'm halfway up, a little bit better than halfway up the hill, and the bus driver pulls over. I see the bus pull over. And I was, "Hey, what's up?" He says, "Hey, get on, dude. What are you doing?" I said, "I don't have the money." He said, "I didn't ask you. Just get on the fucking bus, dude. It's too hot. You're not going to be walking out of here. You're crazy." So I got on the bus, and he was like, "Where are you going?" And I told him, I said, "But I'm only taking it to Ramon Road, bro, and I'll figure it out from there. Or to Ramon and Dade Palm." He says, "Yeah, that's fine, dude." He said, you need to figure something out. You can't be fucking, if you need, I'll pick you up here. I won't charge you. So you can't be fucking walking in this heat.
But back then we could.
Yeah. And like back then, like that would, realistically, if my parents were still here, that's probably how they would have sent me out the house anyways. Well, go. You got to get it done. Your dumb ass lost the job. Go.
It's crazy how when I moved to North Palm Springs, and I would have to, dude, I was in 5th grade. And I'd have to walk to school and walk home. And, bro, I was going through big-ass deserts, like, just to cut diagonals instead of going, And, again, at 5th, My wife and I had a problem with our daughter who went to school right down the street, walking to school and back.
Wow.
And my mom would take her and pick them up. And school was just down the street. I'm talking, I'd go through deserts, 100 degrees, feet sinking into the sand.
Ugh.
As soon as you got out, you had to take off your shoes to knock all the sand out.
Heat from above you and heat from the ground coming up. Oh.
Fifth and sixth grade. No, well, that was fifth grade because sixth grade, I had met James. We were already buddies. At that point, I had a bike, so we were able to. I was able to I would ride to his house and then we'd ride to school.
Did you ever wear? And I don't know what the fuck they're called now. I don't know what people are calling them, but we used to call them winos.
Yeah.
Yeah, you used to wear those shoes. Dude, tell me how bad you could feel the heat.
Dude, the black corduroys.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
Dog.
Ugh. And just a big fucking gum rubber sole.
What about the karate kicks?
Oh,
with that little ass. I don't know how chicks walk in sandals with little ass soles.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
But them karate kicks will get hot too.
Fuck yeah. Because there was nothing.
Yeah.
and the thing is, like, you probably had it a little easier because you're fairly thin. But I've always been a big boy, bro. And once my feet started sweating, those shoes didn't hold your foot where it needed to. So now you're fighting getting a blister, and you're not really sure why you're getting the blister. It's either because your foot's sliding, or it's fucking hot. One of those two reasons. It was fucking awful, dude. Jesus Christ. And now they have like I was telling my niece the other day because she goes to Nellie Kaufman. I was like, oh, that's crazy. I said, I went to Nellie Kaufman. I said, but it didn't look anything like it does now. Like, it was just wide open space back then. I said, all this covering that you guys got to go from class to class. And I said, I remember, I said, you know how you have that like orchestra pit in front of the cafeteria? Remember how you'd have like...
I didn't go to Kaufman.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, so like, I don't even know what street that is, but if you go like where the bus drop off used to be back then, you'd get out and right across from there was like an orchestra pit. And it was all concrete steps, right? And then at the very bottom there was just a small area of grass. And then right across from it was basically like a stage, but that was the back half of the theater or the stage or your lunchroom, right? Which was also your gym. And I remember they would go and they would take class pictures there. They would have sometimes on Fridays, if kids were good, they'd have DJs there on Fridays.
Really?
Yeah. So, people would want to go and sit down. Well, fuck, you'd have to do it like at your own fucking detriment because you're sitting basically in the fire because it was all hot ass concrete. I said, at least now you guys have it covered. Like, they care about your guys' legs. Like, you're not getting beat up with that. Like,
what's funny is I might have seen my wife back in the 7th or 8th grade because I was in marching band and so was she, but she was flags, the chicks that.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, whenever we went to a parade or something, we were doing nothing but looking at the girls from the other schools.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So it's quite possible that I was checking her out back in the day.
You were.
Yeah, I probably was.
So I have to be somewhere. We're gonna cut this one a little bit short. We're gonna do you another one next week. We should be back on track. We just wanted to make sure that we put something out for you.
Okay.
Was there something you had to?
I don't know how long of a story it would be, so we'll save it as a teaser for next week.
Okay.
The bullying situation with my daughter back in junior high.
Oh, you want to clarify all that?
I had a couple people ask because I was supposed to the full story is coming out.
Okay.
Exactly what happened.
All right, so make sure you guys listen for that. What any birthdays or anything?
Yeah, we got plenty. We've got my nephew's baby mama, Jasmine. Her birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday, Jasmine.
Happy birthday, Jasmine. Today, Ivan and Marta's daughter Patty is her birthday. She's 19.
Wow.
Once she hits 20, after 21, I won't tell it. I won't say the age no more.
All right. So
she's 19. She got 2 more years.
I think that's fair enough.
Luis's son, my godson, little Luis. He turned 22 today.
Nice. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. This coming Saturday, my niece Miranda. It's her birthday on Saturday.
Happy birthday, Miranda.
She's over 21, so you know. Your sister Bella, her birthday's on Sunday. You didn't think I knew that, huh?
No, I didn't know you knew that.
See what I'm saying? I'm on point with mine.
Yeah.
So happy birthday, Bella. Monday, the following day, Bobby Magana's birthday, Raymond's wife.
All right.
So happy birthday, Bobby.
Happy birthday.
Remember I just said Luis's son?
Yeah.
Well, Luis's birthday's on Tuesday.
Really?
He's going to turn 51.
Oh.
He's still a baby.
You joined the 50-plus club, son.
And last, on that same Tuesday, Manu's brother, Huicho. His wedding anniversary, 8 years.
Wow.
Will be Tuesday.
Congratulations, guys.
8
Congratulations.
years. He's still in the honeymoon phase.
No.
8 years is nothing, kid.
7 years is the itch stage. 8 years is not.
7-year itch?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well,
8 is, no, you're still here.
I'm just saying 8 is a drop in the bucket, kid.
Yeah, 8's you're still here, bucket. All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much for listening. Sorry we had to cut it short. But again, we'll be back next week to serve you up a little extra. Love you guys. Thanks.